Hey YouTube! I'm sorry it's been a long while, but school's been mixing my schedule up and stuff, and it's been really tiring, so sorry about that. So in the time I was gone, I started some new big projects and games and such like that. And for some reason I didn't think of recording my playthroughs, not even to just speed it up. So I decided that for this video I would be mixing 3 playthroughs together of working on my 3 different big projects, and I hope it's interesting and wanted to get something out. So yeah, let's get started. Alright, so we start off with a Minecraft playthrough. Now this is a vault that I've been building, even though I don't show it to you. I am running through caves because the vault is like the vaults from Fallout, and I had connected it to a giant cave system, and I am looking around and trying to now find my way back because I lost track of the vault. Even though it was very sped up, I was in a giant cave system with tons of little prongs and craziness, and I was doing my best to find my way back, and then I got the idea of backtracking, so I followed my lanterns back until I find this orange area, which is my base, aka vault. And then here I start trying to figure out if you can use maps to sort of help direction, like get yourself back. So what I figured out is, if, as I soon will come to, is I take a map of wherever I am and then get my orientation and like sort of find my way that way. And after this, I noticed that I could have easily used a compass to grab my orientation, but I didn't. So I get back to the base, I start to clear out some stuff, and then I decide that I want to check to make sure that my map thing was correct and good. Turned out it was, and then I start exploding or using TNT here and there. This is common for me in this vault, and I would recommend it if you are making a underground base, is to use a ton of TNT. I believe it's a 3x3 block radius, but so right here I am fixing up the wall and sort of making everything look good. And the wall for this base is supposed to be a stone wall with like a orange stripe down the middle. As you can tell, my color scheme is gray and orange. I could have made it more interesting, but at this point I was too far in and couldn't do much about it. So anyway, here I start still fixing the wall. I start becoming nitpicky about where I put the lights, but I noticed something ironic in this new build of Minecraft, of where for some reason concrete of all things is easily blown up, even if there isn't TNT in a 3x3 radius around it. So I had to work around that. I started doing a bit more of the wall, and then just kept going on the wall for a while. And then I go into a little shopping area, which you'll see later, and start fixing up the wall and the floor. Eventually that gets all done. And by the way, I will show a finished product at the end and of everything else. I used to have a sort of walkthrough at the beginning, but I decided that there was a few things broken and didn't quite look right. Anyway, here I start working on doors and the shop, and as you'll see here, I am making a barracks, if I said that correct. Where, so the idea of this vault is that sort of like a blast from a nuke comes very unexpectedly, and whoever they are that are living in here didn't plan for it. So, the base isn't well planned out. They just needed to get something to live in. I packed the barracks full of beds and called it good. It's very cramped, but it's fine. And here I go back to the stores and work a bit more on the walls and the floor. Quality gameplay, I know. Just keep working on it, and then I decide to work on one of the stores and make it actually a store instead of just making it a husk in some way. So, yeah, I just filled it with flowers, put item frames, filled it with more flowers, and I started to do some things with the buttons and eventually called it good. Added some flowers around the place and kept working on the wall. Alright, so here's our finished product. It's called Vault 103, has a church, which was actually the first thing I built. And next we have a little kitchen, nice cafeteria with a little icebox full of meat. And then a little tree, I tried to do it custom, and then an aquarium that I thought would be used for fishing, but the fish kept leaving for some reason. Here's the barracks. It's big, it's full of beds. Yeah. Here's a shopping area. It's very quick through this, but it's a decently big area. And back there, what you saw was a little mining machine. But anyway, that's what I have for Minecraft. Alright, so here we start off with our second game called City Skylines. Now, I was going to make a proper video on this, but I kept failing with the talk-through so many times that I got the idea of, blooper month or whatever it was. But the problem is I sort of gave up on that because all the bloopers that I had were all sort of boring. I don't commonly just make a funny remark when I mess up on my voiceover. So I wanted to do a little quick thing of this. I had a building up to 100 and maybe 20 something. I don't quite remember. But anyway, so I was working on the top bit a little bit, and then I decided to work a bit more on the bottom of the tower because I was running out of room in my tower, and I almost thought of just making just a video for it, for just the Highrise stuff, but I decided against that and just decided to build it wider. Although here I'm trying to figure out all the power and all that junk and whatever. But here I start to build wider and sort of measure my building and just sort of start to build from the bottom up again instead of building further up. I have a few executive elevators, I forget the name of it, are just special because they can be built off of not off of the ground floor, you can just build them wherever. But I don't see much use for them and they cost more, so I just personally didn't use them that much. But I have quite a few big offices and HQs. I might zoom in on what my goals were for the tons of buildings or houses and offices. But all of that was because I needed to fulfill a goal of like have 300 office workers or whatever, and like I forget how many residents, but I used a normal plot of land, so it was a bit rough. Anyway. Alright, so here we are. This is the finished Highrise. Not completely finished, but what I was able to do. It's very, very tall. So, yeah, it's pretty tall. It's annoying to fix stuff, but yeah, I think it's good. On to our third game. Now, here I start off with building roads, and this game is called City Skylines, and a new mod just came out for industries. The first bit of this is mostly me working out a farming industry. I've already learned how to use industries. I was just wanting to make something for this. Now, I had already done quite a bit on this, but on this world. So here I'm trying to fill in a lake and it starts flooding, so I put in a flood relief, whatever, and I am completely oblivious, to that there's a level terrain tool, which is much easier than trying to level it out yourself, which is very smart of the creators. Geez, I still am trying to think of how to say that word. But so then I move on to an ore industry, and after working on the farming, I do come back to the farming industry, but that's later on. Now, you might notice what I'm building on, and I'll show you at the end of this playthrough what it is. But if you can tell what specific map I'm on, then that's great. It is a modded pack, so be aware of that. So I start building more residential, just trying to get my city better, because as you can probably see, there's quite a few unemployed and abandoned or problems going around the town, so I'm trying to fix all that. Stuff isn't going too well. I decide that I'm gonna undo this industry bit because it was my original mining district, but I just noticed that it wasn't really useful after I got that industry pack. So then I decide to fill it with offices. I work a bit more on the city, trying to get it better. People start moving in a lot in the other industry district, so that's good. I just keep working. There's quite a few deaths in my city, and if you know how to fix that besides just plopping down a ton of hospitals, then please tell me. So yeah, I start placing parks around, and honestly, I think City Skylines, I don't know if I already said this, but this is what I'm playing, is a really fun game, and I like it. It's sort of like SimCity, just, I would say, a sleeker version. Yeah, still working on problems, but... And by the way, this is sped up like 9.5 times its normal speed. Keep that in mind. So I give you a glimpse there. It was highly sped up, so you might not have seen it. I would not recommend pausing the video because I'm going to show you in a minute of what that was. If you didn't just get it from this sped up video. Each one of these were about an hour. The second game, Project Highrise, was probably about 45 minutes long. This playthrough was a bit less than an hour, and the first Minecraft playthrough was quite, it was probably an hour or more. But anyway, so there I give a little shot of an intersection, which I thought was cool. And yeah, just keep destroying buildings, fixing buildings up, and anyway. So here we are. As you can see, the thing was a world, or the world. And I feel bad for making Australia the mining district, but anyway. So here I just wanted to thank you for not unsubscribing to me while I am taking giant jumps and recording. And I really feel bad for doing it. Ignore the sound in the back. And I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm glad I can get this video out, and please don't unsubscribe to me. I'm just trying to work out my year still. And yeah, thank you for watching this. Bye.